gaffer who would tell me, we'd set up a light, and I was like, "Are you sure that's what he wants?" And he says, "Give him something to hate."
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Well, Bonnie Raitt said it best when she said, "Let's give him something to talk about."
She didn't say it had to be good. She did not.
Mm-hmm. She did.
No.
Well, yeah, because love is not always good.
It's true.
Is that another Bonnie Raitt song?
No, but it should be. It should be. I'm actually co-writing a new song with Bonnie Raitt right now.
Ooh.
Didn't
we have
April O'Neil from
Good job.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have the same white streak in her hair as Bonnie Raitt? Or am I thinking of something?
Oh, it's possible.
I thought she had red hair. I don't know.
Yeah, she did. She does still. I bet she's got a good hair colorist.
Somebody else had a streak. Maybe I'm just wrong.
Stacey London has a streak.
Boom.
I know that.
That's so Stacey.
I know that is so Stacey. I mean, it is so Stacey.
Lux Interior from the Cramps had a streak.
Oh, she did.
Yeah, he's got a streak of being dead. He's dead.
I mean, he is dead. Yes.
Oh my gosh! Oh, I was thinking of the lady because we were naming all ladies, and I forgot that Lux Interior is a man.
I jumped in there. I know. I'm sorry. Well, he was married to Poison Ivy.
The lady.
Was it Poison Ivy? Yeah.
No.
I always think Lux Interior is the lady. I get it confused.
I know.
Well, that's such
a really nice name.
kind
it
of
is.
Kind of femmy name.
Yes,
It's a little bit androgynous.
it's a gender bending Rocky Horror type of name.
Yeah, which I'm always like, Lux Interior. What a cool name for a girl, and it's like technically not this time.
You know what? He's dead. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, that's true.
I think Lights.
I'm gonna put him in an AI thing now and reanimate his corpse for a new movie.
Deluxe interior hologram at the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta watch out for those copyrights. I don't know how well the Cramps kept records.
Yeah, right. You don't think 30 years ago they were like, please don't put my reanimated corpse in an AI motion picture?
SAG-AFTRA has announced a single-use agreement
for Lux Interior's estate. Oh boy,
it's a SAG minimum.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You get
$30.
That's
not
cool.
the good kind of minimum. It's a low budget
laptop
minimum.
rental.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
On that note, let's get the show started. Welcome to the Adventures of Danny and Mike. To my right, Mr. Michael C. Maronna.
I'm never to your right. I'm to your left on everything, Jeremy.
And to my bottom, which I don't like saying out loud, Mr.
Okay.
Danny Tamberelli.
I'm fine with that. That's fine.
And our special guest, first guest back, no pressure. She's a comedian. She's a writer. She has more things in her professional titles that I would probably should say, but I'm not going to. Most importantly, she's an author. She has a book out called You Will Find Your People. Check that out. And in addition, she's doing the show on February 13th called Tinder Live with two boys in Queens, New York. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Lane Moore. Welcome back, Lane.
Hi. I think I can be the first guest back. I can do it. I have confidence.
Okay.
I do
no
as
pressure.
well. I think this is going to be great. And with your weird Ohio accent, I thought you said Tender Live, and I was like, well, that's an interesting offshoot.
TE.
That is the
X-rated
spinoff that we're launching. I didn't tell you guys.
No.
It's fully nude.
It's only at porn
tickling.
conventions. Yeah.
Tender Life. You want to pick a feather seat.
Was I not clear?
Really?
Weird.
These really long feathers. They're about 8 feet long, so people can be on either side of the stage.
Stand off stage.
The audience is in
Essentially.
charge of it, so it's really a free-for-all. Bit of a different show than what you're used to.
Sounds like this or that.
Yeah, I've never done it. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? You would be satisfying a lot of weird Pete and Pete fan fiction there.
No, I would. I would. Sorry, and you're welcome that I won't do that. Yeah. No.
Well, give this
good.
podcast a week and a half out, and we'll be sent at some sort of manuscript.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
No, actually, I think it's a good idea. You guys threw it away too fast. No, we know what we did with it.
I was just being nice calling it a manuscript. Sending me pictures of your journal is not the same thing.
Do you get pictures of journals?
Sometimes.
Wow.
Well, why not?
I know.
I don't think I ever have
back in
yet.
the day,
I'm
if someone had figured out a way to find my parents' address,
Creepy.
I would get weird fan mail to my parents' house, which at 10 10, 11, 12 years old is a little weird.
Yeah,
You
bottle
want
of
gift
toenail
certificates.
clippings is
You want
Yeah.
gift cards. You don't want fan mail.
That's
Well,
true.
Or the best is when they send you like, somebody once sent me multiple times from like Germany a weird picture and like, please sign it and like put like postage in it.
Oh yeah, I
And
got the same
everything.
guy.
And
The
I
same
was
guy.
like, I get it. And I appreciate that you're
that was me.
saying that I don't have anything to do, but I can't bestow anything upon you for being creepy and finding my parents'
Yeah.
actual address.
That's true. It's about not rewarding bad behavior.
Yeah,
Yes, exactly.
What did you do with the stamps? Because he gave you the postage.
The international stamps, those
they're
aren't cheap.
international stamps. and
Yeah,
I
what'd you
don't- I don't-
send? You got
Just
a
sent
free
something to
stamp.
his neighbor
That's not as
or
good as a
something.
gift card, but
I-
it's free postage.
Well,
In this
I s-
economy, of
In this
20,
economy.
30 years ago.
I sent him back to the David Hasselhoff fan club because I knew they were in Germany.
Yes.
So
I keep all the prints that people print out from their color printers and send to me.
he's got a box at
Do
Do you have a
home.
wall?
And then-
Do you have a wall of your
No,
own
because
face
the color
printed by
because the
others?
color values the color values vary wildly.
He posts them on his Twitter or his whatever the heck, whatever you use.
I
don't know
think
what
I
you
got my
even
Twitter
use anymore.
suspended for posting a picture of that guy's address who sent a self-addressed stamp envelope to my home address.
Fucking
I was gonna say you
'Cause he
take
was
all those
hunting
for
photos and you
autograph.
just take a picture of them and you're like, you're never gonna see these again.
Yeah, unless it's like a
Yeah.
ransom note. You're like,
Right.
send me more international postage. I
I'm
need
gonna
it
need-
now.
Yeah, I need all the 500 yen stamps you can find.
yeah.
I've become addicted because of you. I learned it from you.
Send me
You
another
s- you
Fabergé
send me
egg.
50 of those €2 coins. We're talking. I'll maybe send you something back.
Gosh,
Who knows
What is
how
the
Maybe
much
Chuck E.
German-
postage?
Cheese gift card. Make it a little sweeter. for me.
How much would it cost you to send a €2 coin internationally? They're so freaking heavy.
Right, I know. You're right. It would cost
Someone's
a lot.
going to tell you in 3 days, and you're going to be like, I don't know that I needed to know that, but thank you for looking it up.
Thank you. You know, look,
Jeremy
we have
is our fact
checkers
checker.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Lane. Jeremy, can you look up the weight of a €2 coin, please?
Okay.
This is their
First fact
check.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh,
Of
Michael.
€2.
You don't want to waste it
You
on that.
have
It's
as
almost
many
like
fact
coaches'
checks as you like,
challenges.
Lane, by the way. If
Yeah.
you
Oh,
feel
yeah.
like-
You're unlimited.
Yeah.
You've been upgraded
8.5
to
grams.
favorite guest, and you get unlimited fact check.
That's so great.
8.5 grams, Mike, and you have to do the math. I'm not doing
8.5
the math.
grams?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I
in
think I can
weed
pack
not
weight,
doing
that's
math,
like
so.
over $100.
You knew that
Sorry,
so
Dan.
specifically.
Yeah.
It was, back in the day.
Oh
I
yeah,
did a lot-
Danny's
I
an
did a lot of my-
encyclopedia.
That's right.
Speaking of shipping shit, I bought a box of ham flavoring, salt-free ham flavoring, Goya, something or another. My aunt needed it, and I found a big box.
She needed
and I
it.
said,
She needed it
you
for
know what?
reasons.
She couldn't find a salt-free or whatever. So I said, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put it in the fucking mailbox with a stamp on it. And guess what happened? It got there. It got completely to Florida, with just the postage stamp on the box
Packaging.
of bouillon or whatever the fuck it was.
No
So
address?
it does work.
Did you put the address on
Oh,
it?
I put the address. No, in
I
Florida
put
you
the
don't have to do
Doesn't
that.
sound right. They just
Yeah.
know.
No.
I
Yeah.
was like, wow,
Yeah.
They're like, yeah,
Florida.
we don't have this right now. We don't have anything because we're taking all
Aim towards the
taking
burning
all the
tires smell.
illegals out, so
take
we
it
don't have
left.
anything now. We can't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
They're like, we have serial
salt-free-
killers and a lady who needs bouillon stat. We made
Stat.
sure to get it to the right one.
But I got a picture. And I should have prepped it, but I didn't know we're talking about mailing stuff.
I've sent Polaroids through the mail, just putting a stamp on them. I've sent pictures through the mail, just putting a stamp on them, and the address. Now.
Really?
And
Just
the
a
address.
picture?
I know that's really
Yes.
what got
That's,
me.
yeah, I put
that's
the address.
Lane
I don't
Moore
know.
exception. You
I
claim
know.
that
I
you
was
just
I
put
was
it
too
with just a
thorough
stamp.
in my listening. I was like, you
I
just
put
put a
2
stamp, and you were
stamps.
like, God willing.
I've enjoyed.
It'll get
just
there.
it's all vibes. Just let the postmaster pick it up.
It's so funny because I love that like
Texas.
Jeremy took that and went we both had a thought at the same time, and Jeremy was like postage and I was like weed. We split off.
Yeah.
A
What was-
road
what-
diverged in the woods.
Lane, you had a can
What's
I tell you?
what's your weed story, Lane?
It was just that because it's not, whatever. It's not like a really wacky weed story, but when we're talking about like getting stuff from fans and stuff, I think, well, it's a toss up, but one of my favorite things I got from a fan, I was doing a Tinder live show in Baltimore. And some guy came up after the show and he was like, oh my God, the show was so great, so great, so great. And I was like, what's about to, and he like bought a couple t-shirts and stuff and then goes here and gave me like 6 joints and was just like, and they were huge. And I was like, okay. And at the time, this man doesn't know this if he happens to be listening. At the time, I didn't really smoke. I'd had varying experiences with them, but I did 2 things. One, I gave a couple of them to my friend who had a newborn, and I was like, "Enjoy, you and your like her husband. You need this." And her and her husband. And she told me like her and her husband like got in their car and got really high and had like a really romantic night, and that made me so happy. And then I went back and I was like, "I'm gonna try weed again. I think I maybe could like it," which makes me sound 6, but now I love it. So that guy was kind of a gateway for me.
Oh, what? It's nice
It
to
was
be able
really
to
good
pinpoint
weed.
that exact moment too.
I
You're like,
know.
okay, this guy
I was like, I don't know
my
about
show,
weed, and I was like,
bought my merch, and sent me on a weed path.
Oh,
and
that's
sent me on a
that's
really
key.
weird journey. But like,
That's
but I'm
key.
like,
Our
that's
favorite.
nice, non-laced drugs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it is
Yeah.
nice.
Wow.
We did a
Because you never know. Because if someone gives you drugs, you gotta be. I mean,
look.
I
You
figure
don't
a
know.
fan's probably not gonna give me some like fentanyl murder drug. I guess I could have gotten it tested.
What if
Didn't
what
kill
if
my
they're a fan?
friends.
What if they're a fan like Kathy Bates in Misery? You know what I
We-
mean? Like,
He
Maronna,
didn't
do you-
seem like it. He had such a like, I have a ton of weed. Maybe I own a dispensary. Like he just was just.
You're
And
just
it's
happy.
Baltimore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I put the pieces together. I did
It's
my own
Charm
research.
City.
Yeah.
The Charm City. No. It makes perfect sense.
As I
As-
lived.
As somebody who
Look at you.
grew up in
Wow.
high school,
Love.
going to hippie shows where people
Yeah.
were just dispensing drugs to other people, weed and Molly and LSD and whatever.
Danny's still alive.
Whatever. I'm still
Yeah.
here. But we did a Pete and Pete reunion thing in Portland, and Toby Huss, who was already on the show,
Yeah.
we did like a meet and greet at like a comic book store. Yeah, a comic book store. And this really nice young lady came up and she had baked us cookies. And I was like, oh, that's so nice. And I was like, I picked one up and I started to eat it. And Toby looks at me and he goes, what are you doing? I'm
What's the
"She
matter?
made
What's the
cookies."
matter
She
with
goes,
you?
You don't know what's in here. What's the matter with you? I'm like, it's like, dude, I've seen like 100 fish shows
Yeah.
and been passed around so many things. This person is the least scary person in the room.
I did not
I will
come.
eat her cookies.
I did not
One
come in
word,
with the fish
Selena.
show experience.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not nice.
Well,
That
I
is
had somebody
the
else,
world
too.
we live in.
When I was touring, who went and was like, I know you have food allergies. I went and specifically got you this cookie, and it was one of the best cookies I'd ever eaten. It did not occur to me. I think I just look at the source and I kind of use my best
Yeah.
judgment and I get a vibe. That's really, and let me tell you, if 5 years from now, that's how I die, I'm like, my gravestone will be like, she got a vibe, she said.
She
Her
died
vibes
doing
were
what she
wrong.
loves. Yeah.
Vibe is off.
I
It's
know.
99.9% for a reason. There's a 0.1% chance.
Right. If I die that way, I actually don't want to die that way. I can't even
No.
say so be it. That sucks. But I feel like most people are good and wouldn't do that. I don't know. But you're right about the Selena thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the call
Selena
came from
thing-
inside the house. She knew her well. I think
Yeah.
you're most likely to be poisoned by maybe somebody who knows you well. I don't have stats on this. I'm not going to ask for a fact check.
There's
It
a-
was an attractive young lady who
Well,
gave us
you-
the cookies, and I
when you
think that
think
factors
about-
into.
Hot people don't murder. I'm just, that's not at all true.
I love that.
But people,
Don't look that up, Jeremy.
Wait, yeah, don't-
No, I might.
please. What a fun fact check that is. Subjectively, how
Do
hot
hot
are
people
killers?
murder?
Astronaut diapers. Look it up.
Do hots murder?
Do the hots murder?
it's possible. I could find a hot, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
They've got
I was
Oh,
gonna
I
say that-
actually did see a documentary the other day about a guy who was a little hot, but he had crazy eyes. That makes you less hot. Then you're not hot.
I
What
think
was-
with
wasn't that
women, it
going
makes them
around
more hot.
Right before the pandemic, there was that picture of it was like a mugshot of some really, really sexy dude. And It
Yeah.
was like something violent, like armed robbery or something like that. And he's like, he's gonna get a modeling deal.
Yeah.
He had like really like
From
piercing
prison?
blue eyes. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a weird world now.
It doesn't matter how you get discovered.
Estee
That's
Lauder.
true.
Estee Lauder has a lot of pull with
Soda fountain, jail cell. As
Yep.
long as you make it to Hollywood.
Whether it's the Mug Shawty's Twitter account or
Oh my God.
a chance encounter.
Every single reply to that Twitter account is just
Really
like,
scary,
I could
right?
change her.
I
And they're
would.
all
I could
like,
fix her.
I
could fix her.
hilarious response. I'm like, you're all saying that. It's all like the new weird fake verified accounts.
Nobody's ever thought of that response before.
Right, and it's all the same ones, and people are like, I'll fave it every time. And I'm like, okay. Give him a special, I guess.
Give him a special.
So weird.
I guess you'd think because Dimebag Darrell was in a metal band, and when he was shot and killed by a fan who was a fan of Pantera, his band before the band that he was playing in, he was so bummed that he thought that he broke up the band and he was just gonna. He was ugly because he was a guy who was into.
This doesn't make sense. If that happened, then Yoko Ono would have
been a hot guy.
Wait, you
Yoko
thought he was
Ono
going to
would've-
die because he broke up the band?
No, the guy that killed Dimebag Darrell was a fan of Pantera, his band.
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't
because
know
they
this
broke
story.
up-
I was very
so
confused.
so Pantera broke up. This
Let's
guy
set the
was
scene.
very upset
Columbus,
about
Ohio.
Was it Columbus?
1997. Yeah, it was.
It was Columbus. And this guy was disgruntled because his favorite band was gone.
Okay.
And he saw the guitar player from that band in a new band, and he went to the show, and he took him out. And his brother was playing drums. There was like half of Pantera. So he was, which is really sad. You know, you can think about it, all these bands that, you know, spend years and years, and a couple of them die off, and they bring new people, and they're like, it's the same band.
Yeah.
Hey, guy, you got half of the band. You're seeing half of your favorite band. Why do you want to kill him?
That's so wild.
If I were a betting man,
was he hot? Was that guy hot?
That's what
I
I'm
bet he
saying.
wasn't.
I'm saying he wasn't hot. I'm saying
the killer. The killer.
Yeah.
not
The
Dimebag.
face scars.
No,
Yeah.
no, he was
Hot
disgruntled.
people don't murder.
45.
We just fact checked that ourselves.
lived with his parents in the basement. Was very unhappy.
Parents have to stop letting their kids do that. They always murder.
Well, the parents have to
Every
move down to the
time.
basement, let the kids sleep upstairs, and I think we'll see a real flip-flop.
And we'll see a real shift in the violence in this country.
Those
This
outcomes,
just became a
exactly.
really weird Fox
Yes,
News.
it's weird.
The boomers will start murdering. The boomers will be the murderers.
They've been waiting for their turn.
Parents of anybody 40 and older that live in their basement should do the same check that Mayor Adams had a video like a week or two ago, like showing
moved to Jersey?
people how to like look for drugs and guns in their children.
That's an old video from when
it's
he was
old video.
borough
I saw it for
president.
the
He's
first time
nuts.
a couple of weeks ago. My God, he was just like, "Hey, look, here's a pillow, and look under the pillow. You gotta stick your hands in there real tight.
Stabs it.
What's in?" He's like, he pulls out a gun, or like he's like, "Yep, if they've got bongos on there, you check underneath the bongos." He pulls out weed. It's just like. Dude, basically, the mayor of New York City is telling parents of children that go to the school to, when they're at school, check their room, make sure they're not doing anything bad. Which is like
Why doesn't he just
ridiculous.
send 5 cops to every house that can sit outside every single day? Because we've got the budget for it. We're spending the money anyway.
We are,
That'll
yeah.
solve it. He's
Eric
so
Adams
wild.
is the antimatter.
He is wild.
He would meet his match in Dan Tamberelli because he'd be like, "Let's see that cookie, drugs. Let's see
Well, yeah,
this."
you know what he would never found? He would never found the random when we were when Jounce would tour, like we'd have like, you know, some beers and seltzers and stuff in like a cooler, and I would have this like beat up Hawaiian punch can that I would stash weed in and put it back in, and it would like look so out of place. It's like seltzers and some beers and some
Then a
food.
2-year-old's
And then
drink.
like and then like a beat up. This is like the most beat up dinked aluminum can.
So
Was it a stash?
Hey, Sunny
punch
D.
on it. Yeah,
Was
you
it,
Was
could,
did
it a
you take
stash
the top
can?
off, or were you just
Yeah,
able
you
to
could-
like put stuff in?
no. You could unscrew like the very top part of it.
Oh, yeah.
It was great.
I
love
really
Everyone's
do
having
feel,
those silly
as somebody who
cans.
got into drugs, like, well, I had a weird, like, I got very into drugs too early and then a little late. I took a gap year, but
Yeah.
like 10 years.
Yeah.
So-
A gap decade.
Yeah, where I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't want to do any of this anymore. And then I was like, some of these are good. I rebelled against the DARE program and had to
Do you
say,
undertake
I
your
rebelled
own
a little
research?
too hard against the DARE program.
Yeah.
yeah, I think we all did.
Yes.
Maybe not all of us. I don't want to speak for anybody here. We're all drug addicts.
Now
right?
and now look at us. People are microdosing just to enjoy themselves at work and be productive members of society,
dude,
which is such a
that's
weird
it.
thing. It's
that's
so
straight up it. I think I was just like, oh, I don't want to do this. I don't like that I can't predict how I'm going to feel afterwards. Like, I totally get that. But now I'm just like, I think I need it to survive the world. Which is,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? I'm just like, just to make it through the fucking day because I can't shut my
the
mind
world
off.
has gotten shittier. With
the world
respect,
has gotten shittier.
The most
entitled to-
countercultural thing you can do, man, in the 60s was, was it? Drop
Wear a
out,
suit and a
tune
tie.
in, turn off, and drop out.
Drop out. I have such a hard time tuning in and turning off and dropping out that now I need it. But it's so funny because if I microdose, I think I just become somebody without mental illness. I'm just like, oh my God, I feel kind of at ease and at peace and present in the moment. I'm not like, whoa. I'm like, okay, I think I can do this.
Lane Moore with the lid off.
Yeah, but if you're just a
CPA
CPA sitting there going over all your stuff for tax, and you're like, well, maybe today I'm just gonna take a quarter tab of acid and just sit there, I'm not doing that. Let the numbers kind of get a little fuzzy, but that's it. I'm gonna go out to lunch. I'll go hang with my coworker.
It's such a I was on hold with my health insurance company the other day, and they were like, if you have, sadness like anxiety or depression that has lasted more than a few weeks, and I was like, and they were like, ask your doctor, and I was like, so they can what? And look, whatever. I'm not gonna go on some tirade and be like meds are bad or whatever, but we have to admit that most of our options suck. It was just so funny to hear them say if you're experiencing this, I was like, I thought we were all just kind of living with that. What do you mean? As though there was some concrete, did you know there's a pill that will erase all that? I don't think I know anybody who found that really. And
but
that's why people are doing these acid trips at work because our mental health care sucks. It's not very good, but it was so funny to hear are you experiencing this thing that literally everyone you know has just learned to live with because there's just really no option? We're here to at least say we can help.
For at least a few months, but if you take too much or it affects you in a strange way, you might have serious thoughts of
exactly.
harming yourself or others.
You could take this and then you just immediately die. We don't know. It's not a science.
Well, how do you know that Singulair, which is a major treatment for asthma? I had asthma as a child, and I would take albuterol, and it went away.
The inhaler.
And then I got COVID in 21 and it came back, so now I have it, and they were asking if I wanted something called Singulair, and I was like, yeah, I've only ever taken albuterol, whatever. And I looked up Singulair, and it's a black box medication, and it can give you, you can harm yourself or others and give you bad thoughts. I'm like, this is for my lungs. How is it affecting my brain?
Yeah.
How is that affecting my brain?
Why would I consider self-harm?
Right. And then you just kind of learned that my favorite one was when I went to see a psychiatrist. And look, I guess some psychiatrists are good. But I haven't had great experiences.
Psychiatrist, son of a bitch.
Yeah, I haven't. I know, right? Yeah. I'm like, if you're listening and you're a good psychiatrist, I don't know. Call me, prove it. I don't know.
Prove me wrong, boys.
Yeah. Because I had one psychiatrist who was had no empathy. So many of them just kind of sit there like this, and they're like, what do you have? And one of them, I shit you not, literally had a fucking, I'm not even kidding you, library book. And she flipped through. It wasn't even hers. She flipped through and she was like, it says here this. And I was like, I would like to leave. They're just guessing. Hashtag not all psychiatrists. Not all
It
psychiatrists.
says here.
It says here, I know that you were coming in, so I went to the library and got out a couple books.
Literally. The story gets even worse from there. It ended up being a really traumatic thing because she was just guessing. And she was like, what? Well, I've never heard of that one. Hold on. And I was like, this is so...
That's humiliating.
Let me go to the index.
But I know I'm not the only one who's had shit like this. I thought, years ago I was. But then every now and again, I'll tweet about bad psychiatrists or I'll see somebody else tweet about it. And you'll see all these replies that are like, oh, yeah, this one did this. And I'm like, I think this is just a profession that's playing real fast and loose with our brains.
Yeah.
Yes.
do you want to be a weatherman or a weather person, or do you want to be?
It's literally like that. Like, this drug might rain tomorrow, or you'll kill someone. Don't blame us if it's the latter.
I felt like my psychiatrist was trying to get me to do his job for him. Like, I thought we had a good interaction and vibe and all that, but I was like, how are you different from a therapist?
Yeah.
Are you taking a dipstick out of me to see if I need a certain number of milligrams? Like, how am I supposed to quantify how good or shitty I feel?
And they will say, if
for
you
milligrams,
press them,
like,
they will admit they're just guessing. They'll be like, well, we really don't know. So we could try this, but then it might do this. We could try this and it might do this. And I was like, one of them, I shit you not, once told me, because she was like, well, there's this medication. I was like, well, I looked that up and it said like it could make depression way worse and you could like lose your life. You could like end your life. And she was like, well, you know, your brain is like a fridge. We put something in there. If it doesn't work, we take it out. And I was like, I'm out. I'm out. My brain is on a fridge.
Take me out.
Take me. What are you going to know?
Your brain is like a fridge. At midnight, I come downstairs and sort of poke around and browse and see what I like and see what's gone bad. And maybe I'll put some
my
butt
brain
stuff
is
back
like a fridge, and I go through my fridge once every 4 years and take out the stuff that's very
I defrost
old.
it. I defrost your brain sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
Horrible.
Sometimes the things in the fridge all got mold. R.I.P. Like, is that me? Like, well, she got mold. We had to throw her out in the Queen's graveyard. But it's a fridge. She was a fridge.
Sometimes
R.I.P.
if something falls behind the fridge and you push it too far, you break the cord, and then your refrigerator doesn't work anymore.
You'll never find it. Now you just get a new fridge. You see, this comparison works great, and it's really
For the
soothing
brain, yeah.
to a patient. Yeah.
Lobotomy.
I know. Let's just go all the way. They're hitting at it anyway.
Sure. I mean, people are collectors of various things. If you're like a hipster in Brooklyn, maybe you'll have a couple of old cameras on the bookshelf. And then there's the people who like to collect old surgical tools. And I'm like, what is with your obsession with old surgical tools? Like, those used to mutilate people. Why do you have
Dr. Death?
Yeah, that's
speaking
I
of.
like that.
I haven't watched Dr. Death. I feel like I can't. I'm already afraid of doctors. I think a lot of us, I don't know, but I feel like a lot of us have already had like mini Dr. Death experiences where you're like, you played a little too fast and loose with that one. I don't know how deep this goes.
Wait, there's two films called Dr. Death. I'm getting confused.
A show,
There's
I think,
the one
too,
that was like
or,
based on the podcast.
2 shows.
I know because I thought about watching it the other day because it has...
Podcast was great.
Yeah, it has Luke Kirby in it, and I just think he's really hot. And then I was like, I can't
Wouldn't
watch
kill.
This. This
Wouldn't
seems
kill
like...
you.
If it doesn't work, I'll take it out of the fridge. But I can't watch stuff like that because I feel like I already get nervous enough when I go to the doctor. And now I have to be worried that he's the next Dr. Death. I can't. I'm just like, hi, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much is the power complex affecting you today? Like, I don't...
It's tough to trust. Trust is a big thing.
It's tough to trust.
So we did a tour, and I broke my foot, and I got on a
The
little
first
scoots.
fucking night. You didn't just break your foot.
First night,
You
yes,
broke your
the very
night.
first
You broke
night.
your foot the first
Snapped
night
it
on
in
the
half.
road.
How?
Metatarsal.
Were you stepping on all your vintage cameras?
No, I was putting them up.
I
was
tripped on the
displaying
Everlast
them.
cord. I was trying to keep it hurting.
My
cleaning
refrigerator
them,
was being
yeah.
reorganized.
I was proud of that one. That was a throwaway joke.
That's
like
good.
if you missed
That's
it.
good.
But I
Yes.
took it.
We enjoyed it. That's going to be a clip for sure. No, but I got I broke my foot first night of the tour. Tripped
Jumping
off a
off the stage.
I wasn't jumping. I was working, was setting up. I tripped on a little lip on like a 8-inch stage, and I fell, and my whole body weight went on my left foot. Snap! I heard a pop. Snapped a bone in half. Point being,
God.
I went to get surgery like 2 months later after tour. And this guy is a very Brooklynish, like he almost looks like he should be like the Nets team the surgeon or something.
The
I go
Nets
in-
have a guy.
Yeah, they have a guy.
Was he walking around with a Gatorade? Was he just like, yeah, this'll
Headbands.
fix it. I know it.
Headbands.
His shoes were size 16s
He had
for some reason.
He had a throw towel over
I
his
was
shoulder.
going to say, did he have a little towel?
Yeah.
He's like, Jeremy, what have you done on the court?
Yes.
He takes out a spray. He takes out a little spray and just sprays his foot a little
He
bit.
fixes it. He's a soccer physio.
This will meld the bone back together.
It will see. No, but I get in the room to have surgery, and there's tons of people running around. But then this guy turns on the worst hip hop that you could imagine, and this guy is standing over me, and I'm slowly like losing consciousness, and he's just like,
Was he like getting amped up to help you?
in the OR, I guess. But do you need to do that for a surgery?
No.
I felt like part of me was
What
like,
color
and then
were his
at the
scrubs?
last second, he's like, this is so-and-so. He's going to sit in on the surgery and take video.
No, I want to meet him first. Don't not
No,
while
and
I'm
I
losing
agree.
consciousness.
And
Yeah.
I agreed to it like an idiot. But I guess exactly. This wasn't a basement in very deep Queens, right by the cemetery.
TikTok, you signed the release. And it's like you're like dancing over your like body.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
like
yeah.
three
Just
sides. and
moving
this
his
guy's
face
not
like
gonna
this.
make it through the surgery.
God. Yeah, I prefer my surgeons listening to like classical music.
Yeah.
You know, anywhere between like 75 and 90
Oh yeah.
BPM.
Very like.
No,
Yeah.
I think
like
Yeah.
calm.
Not like
At
college
least he was
kid.
awake. Maybe he was like
Oh, he
he
was
needs to
awake.
get jazzed. I don't
He
know.
needs to get hyped.
He was awake.
When I was
Yeah.
What color were the scrubs? I think that's important because they're like, I'm different. I wear different colors.
Oh, no, he-
Oh my
yeah.
god! I just thought
didn't
of
wear,
like
like,
the worst joke, but it still makes me happy. I was thinking, like, what if he was like, "Oh, I don't want no scrubs," and he did the surgery nude.
Oh.
I would let him.
On the passenger
But I
side?
liked it.
I would
On the
let him.
passenger
Yeah.
side?
He's
I would give
already
him a
so
high
crazy.
five as I was fading, and I said, "Great job.
A fading high
Have
five.
at me."
All the strength you can muster with your arm before it
Yeah.
falls to the ground.
For the video watcher. Yes.
While
I-
he's like jamming nude to this song
Yeah.
and taking
Jamming
video.
When I was
Threw me
when
off.
when I was 14, I think 14. It was 1997.
It was a very good
It was a very good year. Yeah.
96.
I had a hernia, and so
Oh,
I had
no.
to have an operation.
I didn't know children got those.
Well, I had one when I was a baby, when I was like 6 weeks old, and my dad was changing my diaper, and my junk was blue, and my dad was like, "We gotta go to the hospital." And
That's
so
not
that's
normal.
really true. That's happened,
Jesus.
and there was like a 0.001 chance that it would happen again. I was Mr. 0.001.
Wow.
So
You
I
said
Life
was
found
snip
a
me.
way.
I was
Snip me
playing
right away.
I was, I
Yeah.
was playing hockey for my high school, and that happened. For the listener, just what happened, how I knew that I had something wrong. I had 3 instead of 2
Ooh.
because that's what happened. My intestines went into my sack.
You would have had
That's fine.
6
We're friends
kids
here.
if you would have stuck with that.
Jesus.
So
ball
I had
sack.
to go, yeah, I know. So I saw that and I was like, this isn't right. I got to go to the doctor.
I do like an injury that gives you, or like an ailment or something like that, that gives
you
you a clear sign.
Yes,
I do
yes.
appreciate that.
That
That
was-
just
it
like,
was a-
I feel a little weird, and
it
it's like
was a very-
inside there's chaos, you
It
know?
was a very clear sign. When I went to
Yeah,
go take a
it's
pee
pretty
that
clear.
morning, it was very clear.
Clear and blue
And so
easy.
when I
Yeah.
had the surgery,
Get out.
when
You're
I had,
pregnant.
they did not give me enough. They did not anesthetize me enough, and so in the middle of the surgery, I woke up and was like,
No.
"Ah," like screaming.
Fuck
So they're
no.
like, yeah.
How is that
So
not
they-
immediate lawsuit?
And they
That's
I
so
don't
the
know.
weird.
guys-
Well, so
the
they
guy's
they
like-
double dosed me. And then I was out for like 36 hours. My parents were freaking out because I was supposed to be a
fuck?
1 day. I know. I
Wait,
This is
what did the
Dr.
doctor
Death
look like?
shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did
I mean,
what did
for
the surgeon
real.
look like?
What's
yeah,
that?
he's like, I have one more testicle left when I'm done. I don't know where to put it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I didn't get any money from it. We didn't. Nothing happened. It was I'm sorry that happened to you. You have
You just got a
red
free
hair,
rest. You just
and
got another
because
day
of
off
that,
of school. What are
you're-
you talking about?
You know, we didn't necessarily. We thought I don't know
Oh
what they thought.
right.
There's
They have a backup
like,
for a backup
right,
of like
yeah,
reasons.
They
Yeah.
have a backup to back up the backup plan.
I almost had
That's
a
from
lawsuit.
courtesy of Big Boy.
once. I did they gave me the wrong medicine at Kmart once, and instead of the one I needed, it was the one that it was like gave you water weight. So I just got like fatter and chubbier, and I was like, "What is going on?"
I just also love the way that you describe that, because it looks like you started floating through the world. You were like,
Yeah.
it just gave me wings.
this.
It gave me really fat wings.
I need,
we know.
I need new clothes, but boy, do I feel like I can just conquer the world.
And I start ripping out
I
of
feel
it.
like I'm floating. I'm fat, but I'm light. This is great.
It means you're close to death. That's what that means.
Yeah.
My body is very buoyant today.
Yeah. Like a little Pikachu flying.
The way you shared
Eyes
it,
of life.
Jeremy, I think America is just like Darwinian about you. They just like don't. America does not like the people who get their health care at Kmart. Like I don't know how often. Like
Well, I
there's
didn't
a lot
get-
of people.
well,
who-
yeah, I
a
got
lot of people
pills,
have to
but-
do it.
That was the first and last time, and then I think the
Did you get lawn
farm-
chairs too while you were there? Or a barbecue?
what would Kmart have? Blue light special.
He mailed the barbecue to himself with one postage stamp and no address.
Yeah, I got there. Only one scrape. No, I had another point there and I've forgotten it. So let's move on.
You got it lanced.
Well, I'm
That's
just
all.
glad that you're
Oh,
back to normal
got
now.
Lance.
Your average
Yes.
buoyancy.
No, I still am chub, but it's because well, let's not get into that because I eat a lot, smoke a lot. Let's not. But I don't want to. I'm going to take that out of the podcast because I don't want the world to know.
Hey, yay!
You know what? I'm sorry. I'm also recording this, and I'm going to be putting out on my new podcast, The
That's a
Adventures
clip,
of Mike
yeah.
and Danny.
Oh, great! Finally, Mike gets first billing.
I've been waiting
Finally,
for
after
first
all these
billing for
years.
how many years?
And
No,
in
but-
parentheses of the podcast is like stoner guy gone.
Stoner guy gone.
gone.
Yeah.
Every episode
Yes.
just says
You don't think he's a stoner? Listen to this.
Listen to this.
Yeah, listen to this clip that we got the TMZ.
He's got a disclaimer he plays before every episode.
ZMT. It's
Yeah,
like the
TMZ
generic.
like picks it up. They're like, Jeremy Fallon? We're not sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, he
We're not even
smokes
TMZ.
weed. Why are we
Admits.
reporting this?
Admits to it.
Did you guys mean Jimmy Fallon?
Jimmy
Or
Fallon?
was it Jeremy
Smokes weed?
Fallon?
I mean,
Fallon? Wow.
I could see
we'll
that.
report it. Okay.
Yeah, all right, fine.
He hosts a podcast with what? Whatever. We don't have time. We're not looking.
Jimmy
Kanye,
Fallon's
I
a
just want my
strange
phone
little
back.
brother, Jeremy.
Yeah. Jeremy Fallon. I could pull it off, man. A little suit. Hey, guys. I don't know how I do. I'm really bad at impressions, but
I
I
could
think that would
believe
play
that.
into it a little bit.
I think that was close enough.
It was
We
good.
could get our friend Edmund to sneak you into the Jimmy Fallon show, right?
Do you know
Yep.
the one problem that Jimmy Fallon has is that he doesn't realize how loud a tambourine actually is in the mix of anything that he's doing.
That's
Really?
his only problem.
Yeah, because he gets
do tell.
excited and he's like, so Green Day, they performed in the subway.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And it was his deal, and he wanted to get in and play. And so they're playing all these songs, and this is the cameras and camera phones and the microphones and the cameras just are picking up only chicka 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 chicka.
I didn't
And
notice
it's
that
just
in the
the
video.
loudest tambourining you've ever heard in your life, and it's just like, Jimmy, Pierce's. Why do you think they're all doing it in the 60s? They got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
It's fucking loud, dude.
And they were doing it
And they're in the
lively.
subway. I know.
Oh, no. I didn't even
took-
see that. That's so. I
Yeah.
saw that they were there, but I didn't see the tambourine.
You know what? No,
Explosion.
I'll plug it. This is not a band that I haven't listened to in a long time, but they made a really great record. They have a record.
I've
that
got a
just
way
came
to
out.
weave
It's
it all
very,
together.
Very good.
Oh, that's great.
It was really
Yeah.
fun to listen to.
I took my best friend to see Parliament Funkadelic at the Apollo Theater. It was probably P-Funk All-Stars featuring George Clinton at that point. They have all these different names. But our
With
neighbor,
drugs.
our seating neighbor right next to me brought his own tambourine and his own joint.
No.
And I had brought neither. And he didn't share either with me. But I got to enjoy the tambourine anyway. You know what I mean? Because it was
Enjoy
really-
is it?
Did he have a friend
Subjective
there?
word.
Because if you have two in both hand, how are you lighting it? Are you just? I don't.
He
Yeah.
he
That
puts
sounds
it
it was
on
both-
his.
a couple of pairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was an armpit
You
hole
would
there
know,
somewhere.
Jeremy. You
Right,
would
sure.
know.
They don't call me Tambourine Man for nothing.
You're
And
like,
I can-
oh, it's really easy later to it every night.
And my last name Tamberelli really translates
I
to
was
little
gonna-
drum, which is
God,
very close to
yeah.
Tamborelli, Tamburini, tambourine.
You might have like
So
steak in the.
I can
Oh,
speak.
no.
I can speak to the matter of a loud tambourine. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Is there like a famous Italian family of drum makers? Like the Turks have Zildjian and with the cymbals, and is there anything
Nah.
cool like that? In
No, I don't think so.
no, not
Just
I
the
don't think so.
Tamberellis.
Yeah.
family.
There was a
My
bar-
only tambourine offering really is that sometimes I would play tambourine at like it was romance shows, and I used to play it so hard that I would get a bruise on the palm of my hand, and then I would call it tambourine hand, and I'd be like, guys, we gotta stop, I got tambourine hand, and it would just be like massive bruises, and then people would be like, use your thigh, and I was like, it doesn't sound as good, but then when I would use my thigh, I would get a massive bruise there too. I go too hard on the tambourine.
You
But
get excited.
you get excited, and I want it to. I was never using it as like a little jangle.
Yeah.
I was using it kind of as an extra drum. But yeah. You got to be careful because you'll just destroy your body.
Hey, Lane, more tambourine hand.
Yeah.
It's no good either.
Put some ice on that. Yeah.
Smoke a joint and get in the bathtub till the morning.
Here are some things you should do if you play a tambourine.
Use
Wear some
padding.
gloves that have some pads.
I know. I was always like, do I have to wear a fucking baseball thing to play this instrument?
Padding
Nobody
gloves.
ever talks about this.
Or those
You
tough-
can get a baseball mitt if you want to dull the sound.
But then also, then it dulls the sound. That was the whole point of hitting it
Yeah.
so hard it left a
Right.
bruise. That's called commitment.
There's a perfect invention for you, Lane Moore, and it came
What
from
is
the
it?
80s, and it's called fingerless gloves.
But you'd have to put like a cup in it, like a man's sports.
UFC gloves. Hear me out.
Oh.
UFC fingerless gloves. They have a pad, maybe. I don't know. I've never seen them. But in my mind, they're padded, and it's a perfect tambourine.
But would the sound be muffled?
She's
You would
got a
almost
point.
need something to tap it. I don't know. We
As
may
a
never
podcaster, it is all about the sound.
Yeah.
And you're right. Yes.
know. Yeah.
I've come
Speaking
back.
of that,
I've come back with.
a
Are they in
tambourine.
here? Yeah, they're in here.
You got some gloves?
My son was really excited to get roller skates for Christmas.
Oh,
That's so
crap.
cute.
And so he got knee pads and he
cool.
got these wrist pads. For the listener, you can't see, but if you know what a wrist pad is, a wrist guard is, it's got this plastic thing on top. So if you had this on like this and you're
I
hitting it
thought
against
about
there,
that. You
Oh,
could
yeah.
hit it
would
against
Lane.
that.
still.
Sorry, Lane, you're going to have to wear rollerblades while you
Are you
play
gonna
the
help me out with
tambourine.
this
But
Christmas
You have
gift?
to
you
wear
have
rollerblades.
to, you have to wear roller
I think I'm going
skates.
to take those. Sorry to your son.
Poor Alfie.
My
I'll
friend
tell-
needed this for music.
Oh, she
He'd
plays
be
every day.
okay with that.
Well,
He'd be
She
all
plays
right.
shows, practices.
Yeah. She gonna love it as much as I do? I don't know. She really loves smacking her own hand until it was injured.
Is she gonna bring them back nice? No, they'll probably be pretty beat up.
Used, buddy. They're going to become back gently used.
And then later in life, Alfie's just like pissed at you all the time because
I
one
know.
hand is scarred.
I
The other hand is
combine.
perfect.
He's like, he becomes
never
emo
forget.
only
Yeah.
when I'm around. He's like, hey, what you been doing?
Hey, I
He's
remember
like,
you.
Flips his hair.
Leave me
his
alone
hair.
about it.
Gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of this place. He like starts smoking only when I'm there. You're like, what is this? He's like, I can quit
Tilts his
whatever I
glasses
want as
down.
long as Lane's gone.
Where'd you get those cigarettes from anyway?
I don't-
Your dad.
Yeah.
I don't know, do they still make the fake cigarettes that have the sugar that you can blow out?
the
Bubble
of?
candy
smokes.
cigarettes.
Candy
those were
cigarettes.
cool.
I like
Yeah.
the
Says-
ones that didn't have the gum in it, but were like the really like thin. They were just like candy, just like really thin.
I
yeah.
liked them also because they seem like they were from the 1950s. They had that really old packaging.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the Lucky
throwback,
Lucky Strike
Yeah.
style packaging.
They looked really old, and I was like, oh, this is fun. And I think it was mostly just like cornstarch. They didn't taste that good.
They didn't.
And they had the little like red tip that was like basically the color of my nail polish. Like it didn't look like a flame at all. It was just like, see, it's fire, red like fire. And you're like, actually, that's not how a lit cigarette has ever looked.
I started rolling up my t-shirts and
Putting the
snapping my
facts in.
fingers and going, when you're a jet with just really
You eat
getting into
cornstarch
it.
all day.
I'm gonna get
Yeah.
myself a zip gun. See, a zip gun.
What's a zip gun?
I
It's
still
like
don't
a
really know what a
homemade-
zip gun is.
Oh,
I just
okay.
know that
It's-
it's made
it's a
popular
homemade
in
thing
West Side Story.
It's a self-defense, like homemade crude gun that you would
Okay.
make with like a battery.
But 3D printing sort of took that over.
Now you got
so
ghost
no more
guns.
zip
You don't
guns.
need zip guns anymore. Well,
I-
people in jail. People in jail.
Finding
guess
out
maybe.
about that, literally my right eye just started twitching violently. I don't like
3D
truly. I
printed
don't
guns?
know why.
That's it.
Something is
just
happening.
If you look
just
on
down
your
the
Citizen
block.
tab, you can see how many zip guns are directly in your vicinity right now.
No.
just down the block from the big equipment rental
But I won't
place
tell
that
you
we
where
go
they
to.
are unless you pay $6.95 a month.
Great. Great.
One of the main
Not to
lighting equipment rental houses we go to is on the west coast of Queens in Vernon Boulevard. And these two brothers were just arrested across the street for 3D printing mad guns and having tons of guns and ammunition. Just up in Astoria.
Jesus.
I think there was a manifesto, but we're not
Oh,
getting
that
the
just
manifesto
happened.
yet.
Yeah, they had like homemade IEDs and stuff too. They were not
They had a
playing
lot of
around.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it? Are you saying IAD?
IEDs?
IED?
Oh, no.
Because I always think when people say it fast, I think they're saying IUD.
What is it? Improvised.
Oh, gosh,
And I'm like,
that
they're
would
making
hurt, too.
like the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
It's a little different.
We're making contraceptive affordable for women. No, they're not. They're not.
It's attrition by reduced fertility. That's what they're trying to do. It's a very long-term
Yeah.
kill that they're trying to accomplish.
I always think that. I'm like, well, wait, IUDs. That's you
That would
can
hurt
3D
too.
print that.
So you can. Yeah, that's cool.
Sounds.
I feel like anyone with a vagina should go get a 3D printer now. What?
It's a
Yeah,
prerequisite.
this is
Damn
this
the
is
man.
healthcare.
Damn the man.
Print your own IUD. Yeah. You just wrote a hit.
Something's not right.
We're gonna
with
get Lux
this.
Interior to come back
Oh
for
man.
print your own IUD. It'll be
I
great.
got an
He's authorized it.
IUD. It's
Yeah.
an IUD. It's an IUD.
Print it for me.
IUD. IUD.
I just want to give you the.
We have just been sued by the cramps. If you put this IUD, you get the cramps.
I love their cover of
Forget
Surf
the
and Bird.
cramps with the IUD.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
No more cramps, get the IUD. Yeah.
Oh my! I think he would be okay with that. I think
He would be
I think
okay
he
with-
would think that was a funny joke.
I think he would at least do it as a sponsored post. On his Instagram.
How else do you think we're gonna get this money? Stranger Things is the only thing that pays.
You're clearly a veteran podcaster because you have the finest desk chair of any of us.
Oh,
Oh,
my
yeah.
God.
You are a veteran podcaster.
Is that like a Bang Olufsen?
I don't
that
even
has
know what you're
speakers
talking
built
about. It's
into it.
literally from IKEA, but but it's really good. It has like a neck rest, but that you never use when you're podcasting. But I think you can also do this, but which doesn't make a difference. I just, for those who can't see, I just moved it like a quarter of an inch, like an airline seat. But but it's nice having the headrest. Sometimes in like virtual therapy, my therapist will be like, "I see you have a headrest. Do you want to use it?" And I'll lean back.
Well, thank you.
It's wild. No,
Yeah.
when you use it, it feels incredible. You're like, oh my God, this is good. Why are we all sitting like this? We could be like, yeah, that's a good idea.
Let's pod like this for the.
You immediately feel so good.
I even have a little pillow
You feel like
there.
a baby.
Look at this little pillow.
Okay,
can-
see, that's more.
That's next
For the
level,
listener,
right? For the
Jeremy
neck.
just pulled out something
big
that
deal.
looked like a camelback.
Yeah, it
I
should
can-
have water in it. That'd be amazing.
I can drink from it, and it also keeps my my upper lumbar together.
Yeah.
Health for me
Warm water.
and
only.
weed.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You gonna cut that one out too, Jeremy? I think you
Nah,
talked
I
enough
think I'm gonna
about
leave it
weed,
all.
okay?
I don't really care anymore about anything.
These are cries for help, you guys. These are all cries for help.
We'll be able to pinpoint it back to the
Deep
reboot.
sea.
You're not
Dude,
getting him enough
cries for help.
cameras. Get him another vintage camera and maybe he'll stop the weed.
Ever since that doctor started dancing, I haven't felt the same. It's like something went on in that room.
You have to go back and find that song. You have to
That's
find
like
the
a
same
new
song.
quote from a new murder podcast.
It's
Ever
Dr.
since that
Death
doctor
Foot
started
Edition.
dancing, I
Yeah.
haven't felt the same, says victim Jeremy Fallon.
He was supposed to work on my foot, but he worked on my heart. It's Dr. Death 3.
Wait, are you in love with him?
That's what I'm
Jeremy
saying. Add
Fallon
the angle.
is-
Add that angle in
So when
there.
Jeremy gets too high and he starts to get the spins, he remembers that whole motion of him like almost passing out and seeing this guy dancing to terrible hip hop. What
I haven't laid
It
down
sounds like a
since.
David Lynch clip.
Is it like
It
Twista?
literally
does.
Like who is he listening to? Do you
He's
know?
on.
Is it
He's
too
tapped
fast?
to direct. Yeah. Mr. Lynch. What was your question, Danny?
I want to know if you, when you woke up, did you
Yeah,
say,
what
what
was
were
the
you
track?
listening to?
No, I mean, I didn't ask. Maybe I should have. I wanted to ask for the video footage just so
Hey,
we could
that
use
song
it for
sucks.
something.
What is it?
Oh,
Yeah,
I would not
yeah.
want to see that video footage.
Don't say that. My feet are beautiful.
Oh, that's right. It was a foot surgery. I forgot.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh,
I'm
this is
back.
not
opening
as
up a new
interesting.
fetish.
It's a
angle.
it's a new fetish. Yeah.
Dude, I would start an OnlyFans if I knew I could put all my surgeries on there.
It seems like a
I can't
tautology. I don't
guarantee
think anything's
anything, but I
stopping you.
feel like there's
I
an
don't
audience for
know.
everything.
There's definitely
Yeah.
an audience for that.
Just
Yeah.
trying to make a living here, man.
You could do
know?
like that, do 2 days of that, and then 2 days of mukbang, where you're just like eating a lot. And
Oh yeah. Well, I do
Helps
that.
everybody.
I'll get one of those cameras like the MTV shows, that like mount on front of you with Fear. Remember Fear?
Mm.
And so when the camera moves with them,
the
so
Blair
it's like,
Witch rig, in other words.
it's not Blair Witch, it's Fear. All
No,
those
it's the Blair
90s
Witch
kids out
rig,
there are going to know
where
exactly what I'm
the
talking about.
camera's facing you.
Yeah.
But this is attached to the person, so every time the person moves, the camera moves, and it just looks like
You're talking to people who are veterans of being in the entertainment industry in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, we
Jeremy.
know what you
Let
mean.
Michael tell you what it is. Understand?
Well, Michael's wrong because it was MTV's Fear that started this whole thing. I think it was called
No.
Fear.
How
And then
how old
Blair
is
Witch
Fear?
didn't have a camera strapped to anybody, I don't think.
Yes, they did.
All right, I'm going to watch it again. That used to be one of my favorites, and I would
Really?
feel bad if I got this
I
wrong.
don't. I don't
Yeah.
think I ever watched it, to be honest.
I saw it in
just
theaters the day it came out. I was so excited.
Wow.
The last movie I saw the
Were
day
you
it came out
excited
was
for
Tank Girl.
Blair or Witch or The Project? Or all three?
Why was I there? Why did I watch it? Well, I
What?
mean, I was like a film kid. What was your question?
You know what's funny is I don't think anybody asked you that question.
Nobody
You just
asked
went
that.
right into it.
Not at all. Not
So
even a
weird.
version of my question. It was amazing.
Yeah, so you guys want to know why I liked it? No, we were just
Somebody's
Fucking
feeling
film
very
fan.
defensive.
And it was a
right?
film.
Very defensive.
No.
Dude, was that the thing you just really wanted to talk about? You're like, so everyone keeps asking me why I liked it, and I'll answer you.
oh,
First, I get this Jimmy Fallon shit, and then
wow, so great, so great, Jeremy, so great.
so great. First one back. We're doing great.
Yeah.
We are sort of heading towards the end here, but I wanted to, since you haven't been on since you released this book, I'd love it if maybe we could talk about the book a little bit and what it, what it means for you, why you put it out, else is in it. Is there any talk of tambourine?
Yeah. I love the NPR voice that you suddenly started doing
Oh,
now.
yeah,
when you're asking
wow.
the book,
I
you're
have
like,
it too.
What does
Book
it mean
review
to you?
voice.
I want
We're
to.
here
Yeah.
with Lane Moore.
Yeah.
She has a new book out called "You Will Find Your People."
Well, do you think
Mm.
that it's people who read How to Be Alone and were expressing doubt, and you needed to answer them or
Is
reassure
it a
them in
follow
some
up?
way?
Is the question.
I'm just
It's so funny.
literally
Yeah.
the titles, the connection of the titles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, and they're such good bookends. So, like, for people who don't know, my first book is called How to Be Alone If You Want to, and Even If You Don't. And then my second book is called You Will Find Your People: How to Make Meaningful Friendships as an Adult. So they really are bookends there. But I mean, for me, I think it was a natural sequel for a lot of reasons. One, like, How to Be Alone, I was talking a lot about having, feeling like I was the only one who didn't have this like perfect family, didn't have perfect friends that like lasted from the age of 8 till 95. I feeling like I was the only one who didn't have these like perfect romantic relationships just from the jump, because we don't really talk about that stuff. So, and then like learning to be okay on my own and like actually develop that relationship with yourself that's so important, especially if you're running into those issues. Like, we really unfortunately have to go back and like develop our relationship with ourselves and kind
but
of heal
making
these
yourself
wounds from
laugh.
childhood.
Making yourself
Yeah,
laugh at it at the same time.
Right, exactly. All these things. And then once I had done that work on myself and had been like, oh my God, like I actually really like myself. I love spending time with myself. And I've kind of freed myself from the pressures of like what it means to be alone at this stage or age or whatever the hell, all these pressures that we feel like something's wrong with us. Now I'm in a better place, because once you do that work on yourself, you're in like a better place to have better friendships, because you're not just, I know for me, for a long time, I was just like, oh my God, they like me. This is great. Let's be friends. And then you get into a friendship with somebody who like is not what you want in a friendship. It's kind of uneven. It's kind of unhealthy. But when you don't have, like when you struggle with any kind of self-esteem or stuff like that, you're kind of just like, oh, anybody can come along. And if they want to be my friend, I'm going to accept it. And I had to break that. And it was a hard thing to break. And you realize how many of our friendships we are literally just like, oh, you applied for the job, you get it. Like, no, oh God.
Yeah, there's some vetting that needs to be. Yeah.
Well, it's tough when it's tough for people to evaluate their friendships and say, oh, this one's 50-50. Oh, this one's 60-40. Oh, this one's 70-30. I'm thinking about that. And there's just the different natures of people in there. And what accommodates you, what makes you feel most comforted. I don't know that people need friendships for challenging, but in certain ages they do to make you to make you break out of whatever is normal.
Yeah,
totally.
And it's also like, we don't. All the friendship books that I had seen out there, for the most part, were all books that were just like, I wrote a book about friendship. I have the same friend from the age of 2, and now we're 56. I'm like, great. I don't relate to that.
Yeah, this doesn't apply.
Yeah.
This doesn't apply to me. What if, like, you got to adulthood and you're like, fuck, I actually like haven't had the best friendships, or like I had a great friendship and then it ended, or my friend got married and it affected us weirdly. My friend had kids and I didn't, or vice versa. And now our friendship's weird. Like there's all these things I wanted to talk about in this book, because so much of pop culture, like, I talk a lot in the book about like TV shows and movies that I watched where like you have Sex in the City and it's like 4 friends getting together every single day at 2 p.m. at a hot new restaurant. Like, it takes me weeks. Randy, I don't even know the last time I saw you because our schedules are so nuts. Imagine like we have every single day at 1 p.m. We all get this like $300 lunch together. Like, what?
Yeah.
And even like, New Girl, and you have these friends who've just been friends for 20 years, no problems. And like, I just didn't relate to these things. So I wanted to kind of talk about that. And, part of it is, a book about what these depictions of media are and how flawed they are and how most of us don't feel that way, and kind of admitting that. Because I think the other thing is like so many people hold on to their friendships for too long because they're like, well, I've known them since whatever. And then you're like, okay, but sometimes it's bad, or you don't get along, or you're not the same person. You grew in very different ways. But because we're all told that like you should have all your friends set by the time you get out of college, you have all these adults who are holding on to a bunch of people they don't even like anymore. They don't feel seen by. They don't have real conversations with. It's just surface level bullshit they're posting online. And I want more than that. I think a lot of us do.
The depth has drained out of that. You want something that means something.
Yeah.
You want something that means something, but it's scary because, and I talk a lot about friend breakups because we don't want to do that. We will easily break up with a partner that's not working, but not making us happy. Like, it's really bad. We won't do that with a friend because we're like, there's such a pressure that you can't break up because it's so taboo. And like, I want that to go away because sometimes friendships are done.
Those right now. I'm having one of those right now with a bunch of friends that I've been, I do have like a handful of people that I've been friends with from, 5th grade on.
Yeah.
And, one of them in that crew, we're not like on great terms, but I keep getting from like other friends in that friend group being like, it's cool, just like squash it, or like, we just come along for the ride anyway. Like, we all need to hang out like it used to be. And it's like, it doesn't work like that.
You become different people sometimes. And that's the thing. Like, I remember like, so, the book came out a couple months ago, but I remember seeing a couple tweets that were like, I have the greatest friendships ever, but I'm still gonna buy Lane's book to support her. And I was like, that's very sweet, but I don't think there's anybody on this planet, no matter how great your friends are right now, who doesn't need to learn more about how to be a better friend, how to have better friendships, when to cut the cord. Because no matter, even if your friendships are perfect right now, you're gonna hit problems. There's nobody who goes through life like, some of those friendships are gonna end and it's gonna hurt, and you're gonna like, it's just why it's interesting to me when people are just like, I will never struggle with this. I'm like, you will. I know it. I wish it was not. I wish anybody could bypass that. You can't. Like, I mean, straight up, when I was writing this book, I had a bit of a false confidence where like I started writing the book and I was like, oh, I'm in such a good place to write this. My friendships are the best they've ever been. Yes, I know what to do. As I'm writing it and I'm giving other people advice about like, this is a red flag. And I was like, oh, fuck, some of my friendships are not that good. Damn it. But then it was the perfect thing to happen while I'm writing it because I was like, oh, It's so true. Like, even when you're like, I got it nailed, these are the best ones, somebody changes, something happens. And like, that's just the way life is. There's no like, and then we were perfect forever. That's just on TV.
Yeah.
That's not real.
It's certainly been driven down our throats. That sort of image of, let's move to New York, and people like us, comedians, or like people who really like move somewhere to do something. They have that in their head, like, oh, I'm just going to get that loft, and when the elevators open up into the building, and you step down, and it's beautiful, and there's like old industrial, that's $10,000 a month. This is never going to work.
And also, like, even when you meet
and your
those
friends
people,
aren't in there,
right? Your friends
Nobody's
aren't
there.
in there. They live 3 boroughs away, and you're never going to see them because it's like 6 trains, and you can't get that. Like, let's do next week. There are so many people I love that even when you have that. Or you have a friend where you're always trying to make plans, and they're kind of always flaking. A lot of the shit that comes up with friendships, it's not that like this person's bad and you're good. That's not it. It's just like little incompatibilities, or like they'll vanish for 6 months and you're like, this feels bad. Like, so it's all that.
You're not
stuff.
Polaroids. You're not Polaroids that you're holding up against each other. You are a motion picture that continues to move and change. You're not a snapshot. And that is maybe something that I faced in my life, was that I like placed my friends as snapshots in a photo album or something like that, and didn't let them evolve, and didn't evolve with their friendships. So I can think of that, certain friendships that way.
Yeah, or we keep them as a snapshot in our minds of the best time in our friendship, and they've changed into someone we don't fit with anymore. I've had that so many times where I was holding on to, or you're holding on to like 10% of the time we have fun. Yeah. And it's like, oh, that's actually not a good. And the rest of the time it's like painful or exhausting or whatever. Like in a romantic relationship, we'd be like, it's dead. Let's call it. But in friendships, we're like, but the 10%, I don't want to go find a new person. Like we have this. So that was a lot too of what I really loved exploring in the book, is like how differently we view romantic relationships. We're like told to hold on. Like your friends are telling you, Danny, like, don't let it go, which is wild, because if it was a girl you were dating or something, if you were single, they'd be like, find someone else.
Just get over it. Go find somebody else.
Yeah.
It'd be so easy. They would not be like, let it go, squash it. You must have her. Like, that'd be wild.
Yeah. It's well,
because it ruins the group,
right?
I think.
And it's
like,
exactly right. It becomes what you're talking about. It's like some people can deprogram and some people can't, and can't see that. It's hard,
right?
It's really hard.
I know what you mean. Yeah, it's like it's just too hard, and then you feel like you're breaking this thing up. But sometimes people just don't fit anymore, and it's so funny too, because sometimes it's as simple as I have people in my life that I've realized. Some of them, like, they're not bad people. And if I saw them, sometimes it's moving a friend from like a really close friend to like sometimes if I see them out, but I'm not getting what I need because sometimes I have friends who like want to be really, really close, but I don't get what I need out of a close friendship with them. They do, but I don't. And so then it's like, then you have to be like, and I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I just know like, they're like, oh, this friendship is so great. And I'm like, I don't think it's that good. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you're just not, they're
how do
really
you
able to
convey
get
that without sounding like,
Yeah.
What
right.
you just said.
And
like,
you don't want to sound like a dick, but it's like, sometimes you just need more from somebody than they can give. And that's why like, I talk in the book about like attachment styles with friends, because we never talk about that. We only talk about it with romantic relationships and like love languages and all these things. Like sometimes it's just an incompatibility of that stuff, and they're not bad, but then you have to kind of do the awkward, like, I have removed you from a closer friend. Don't ask me any questions, but if you do ask me, I'll tell you. It will just be awkward. Yeah. Because I don't want to make it. You don't want to make anyone feel bad. That's the thing. Because it's not this indictment of like you're horrible. It's just like every time I talk to you, it doesn't feel that good. Like there are so many people like that. It's like,
and a lot of people don't get to that level of knowing that it makes you, or admitting it out into the world, and just, or to yourself or to the other person or whatever. And it's just like,
that's where the work is.
Sometimes you got to protect yourself. Yeah, exactly.
You can give yourself excuses for everything. Oh, they live too far away, or I've got 2 kids now, so I don't see him that often because we used to like, have more time together, and now we don't. But it's like, well, that's just life, the way it is. You can, if that person respected my where I'm at and I respected where they're at, we could be in a different place, but we don't, you use excuses of why things aren't working. And you don't exactly what you're saying. You don't say it's the relationship between us. It's not anything else. It's not outside anything. We're in different places. You're
and
not doing
accept
for me.
that. And sometimes it can't be fixed. And I think that's why sometimes, you don't need to have that conversation, or you don't want to have that conversation, because then it can bring up stuff like that, where it's like they want to fix it. And sometimes, it's complicated. I'm sure there's a lot. I can already feel energetically people being like, well, what about this? It's in the book. I go so much deeper into this, and it's like, and I talk about it like, on my podcast all the time, all these things, because there is so much nuance. And I don't believe in being like, I'm going to leave this like really intense close friendship and never tell you why. No, there's a whole chapter on that in the book. When people do that, I think it's trash, but it's more when like you've tried over and over again to like fix a friendship that you have, and it's just not going to be fixed. At that point, you can like kind of walk away and be like, it's just not working. It's the same way you would with a romantic relationship.
Yeah.
You don't have to write a decree. You don't have to do an exit interview all the time. You can just be like, this isn't working. It's okay. You don't have to fix it. You're not bad. I'm not bad.
If you have a friend concern and you want to get it off your chest, just let us know at 347-470-8150. That's the Danny and Mike hotline. You can leave messages there for Lane that we will pass on, but obviously
pass
Lane
along.
has her own methods
we will vet them
communication.
And
we are happy to listen. We're listening
They're
to
like,
you.
make that Danny tickling thing. That Danny and Mike tickling thing. That's our only friendship request.
What, Tender Live?
The naked thing.
Yeah. With the feet. We never said feet, ma'am.
Yeah. We never said feet.
It was implied.
We want a Pete and Pete fan fiction only fans.
Feet and feet.
Only for fans.
Feet and feet. Oh my God, Lane, you get 10%.
I was
straight off the top.
I was going to call this episode Hots Never Murder, but now it's got to be Feet and Feet.
Lane,
thanks, Lane.
Give us your plugs. What other than the book that we've talked about, but where can people find you?
Yes. So I am at Hello Lane Moore on all of the social medias. I have a great podcast called I Thought It Was Just Me that's on my Patreon. You can see me with Danny and Mike on February 13th at TVI for Tinder Live, which is such a fun show where I go on my Tinder and swipe live through the depths of hell, and the audience votes whether I swipe right or left. So fun. Also, if you do not live in New York City or the general area, that you should be taking a bus, train, boat to come see the show. I am doing a Valentine's Day live stream also, and you can get tickets at lanemore.org, and that'll be on February 15th, which is always very fun. Anything else that I forgot? Oh yeah, and you can get copies of How to Be Alone, and You Will Find Your People at all of the bookstores near you. There's also audiobooks if you want me to read it to you, and then I do like little voices when I'm making fun of somebody, which is fun. Like, because when in the audiobook where I'm like, and then he was like, that's fun. I get to give them the voices they deserve.
All right, just quickly, what would our voices be in that?
I love weed. Yeah.
That's it. Nailed it. Fuck yeah.
Yes.
I love weed and tambourines.
Yeah, that's
Would you like this cookie?
Now I've named you Jerry.
Jerry. No, well, there's a whole thing about Jerry. Yeah, a lot of Jeremys get called Jerry. I wrote a whole script about it, but
that's great.
But we'll get to that later.
That's great.
I am happy that after a long period of time, that we are still people, and we still found each other, and we're still friends. Thank you, Lane, so much for doing the podcast, and we'll see you all on the next one, I suppose. Thank you all for listening.
And we'll see you, Lane, in 2 weeks.
That's right. Yeah, go see them. Probably right when this episode's coming out, a little before.
Yes, a little before,
so
Jeremy. Make sure that this is an advertisement as well, please.
It is. This is one of those. Hence the bringing up of the head.
And forget
Danny has the tambourines.
Taking photos of your weed and your
I have cameras.
If you keep sending emails to that surgeon for that video instead of releasing
I need the music.
I'm getting him on the pod. That's it.
Surgical videos with his tambourine and tambing along.
Well, Thank you, Lane, so much for joining us. And
Of course.
if you want to give Danny a shout, at D Tamberelli on the Twits, at Danny Tamberelli on the Instagram,
Yes.
Michael C, at Michael C Maronna on the Twits or X, whatever you call it. I'm an old one. And I am at Jeremy Balon on the Instagram, at Remy Balon on the Twitter. Give us a look. The Adventures of Danny and Mike, at Danny and Mike. You can find it. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
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 The Adventures of Danny and Mike stars Danny Tamberelli and Michael C. Maronna. The show is produced by me, Jeremy Bailey. For more information on the guys, visit our website at DannyandMike.com. Also look us up on Twitter at Danny and Mike with the N spelled out, and on Facebook at Facebook.com/The Adventures of Danny and Mike. Thanks for listening.